All right. Today we're going to be talking about how to use TikTok to get quality patients. Yes, quality patients. If you've tried to use TikTok to grow your practice, or maybe you've held back because you're not sure how that would work, you're going to enjoy today's webinar. All right, let's get right into it. Regardless of your business's stage, if you want to grow and achieve your goals, you need more than referrals. Hoping you get enough referrals calling you each month is not a reliable strategy to hit your new patient targets and to serve your community as much as they need you to, which means you need to do what all successful businesses do, and that's invest in marketing. But you want to be very strategic in what marketing you do and ensure you get an ROI from your effort and money, right? All right, let's take a look at how to best leverage social media and TikTok specifically to get new patients. All right, let's look at this from the buyer or patient journey. As a person buys products and services, including healthcare, they go through different phases before they make their provider decision. A lot of docs think all they need is a good website and Google reviews and that content is optional. But 60% of patients say they're more likely to choose a doctor who's active online, sharing content, compared to one with just static information. And considering that 78% of people prefer short videos to learn about a service, including healthcare, and that short form videos have 2.5 times more engagement than long form videos, it's obvious that sharing helpful video content on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok are going to make more people aware and interested in how you can help them. Look, if people knew what you know, they'd beat a path to your door. The challenge is most people you can help either don't know you exist or don't realize you can help with their situation. So you need to make them thirsty, then offer them a drink. And before they consider getting your help, we need to make them aware you can help them and their condition and interested in getting your help. The very first phase on the buyer or patient journey, sometimes referred to as the top of the funnel, is awareness. And this is where potential patients first become aware of you or your treatment options. They may not be actively looking to get your help yet, but you want to make them aware of your existence and pique their interest. To create awareness and interest, you want to distribute helpful content on social media platforms. Most of your social media content should be aimed at being helpful and increasing awareness. Let's talk about awareness for a moment. The definition of marketing, or good marketing anyway, is putting the right message in front of the right person at the right time. These stages should make intuitive sense, but let's take a moment to see why it makes sense that your content and ads should focus on a specific segment of people. First, you have the problem unaware people. In the case of sciatica, these are the folks who don't know why they have burning and tingling running down, from their buttocks down the back of their leg. They're going to consult Dr. Google first, probably end up with their primary MD, and they'll become aware that their problem is sciatica. Their MD will likely give them a prescription and referral to a surgeon. At that point, they'll be aware of some solutions. If you create helpful content for these people, they'll become the most aware and know that you specifically could help treat their sciatica. The takeaway here is that different people are at different stages of awareness for their problems that you can help. And the biggest group are those that simply know about their symptoms. Next biggest are those who know what the problem is that's causing their symptoms. Really good content solves for problem unaware and problem aware, you know, such as, should I worry about tingling in my hands? 70% of customers prefer getting to know a company via content rather than ads or promotional content. Widen the net of people by connecting the dots between their symptoms or problem to you. This is how you win online, by getting people thinking of you and wanting your help before they've decided on getting help or who they're considering. And so you want to do this with helpful content. On social media, that's videos. On your website and Google, that's written content or blog articles. Providers with a strong brand presence online are twice as likely to attract high-value patients. The more content you create for those early stages, the more people who will become aware of you and how you can help them. Many people don't even think chiropractic could help them or their situation. They don't even consider it. So to help more people, you want to create content that raises their awareness of their problem and what can be done for it. And this has a result of getting people to see you as someone who can help with their situation, builds trust, and generates interest in getting your help. As of 2025, the US was home to 253 million social media users, which is 73% of the entire American population. And they're actively scrolling through content and killing time every single day. In 2025 and going into 2026, social media is the place you can reach the highest percent of your community with a message. And TikTok dominates engagement with American users. They're spending 43 hours and 53 minutes per month, or about 90 minutes a day. There are over 135 million people using TikTok in just the United States. And TikTok is probably the social media platform misunderstood the most and capitalized on the least. And from what I've seen, most attempts at TikTok advertising are not done well, meaning they're wasting time and money that could be generating a lot more for practice owners. And I'm here to fix all that. So today, I'm going to share the discoveries we've made around TikTok, starting with insights to help you decide if marketing on TikTok is appropriate for you and what I even mean by the term TikTok marketing. I'm going to clarify common misunderstandings around TikTok. I'm going to go over typical TikTok ad mistakes and give you a plan to make TikTok a successful marketing strategy for you. And I'll cover some landmines to watch out for, and I'll give away a free bonus to help you out. Sometimes people have to drop off the webinar, even though I try to keep it short and insightful. So if you want to know more about how to get quality patients from TikTok, but not necessarily do it yourself, or if you have questions about it after this webinar, jot down my number, text me, or scan the QR code here, and I'll be able to help you. All right, you're going to want to make sure to put your phone down, close anything else on your computer, because as usual, today there's no fluff, and because time is our most scarce resource, I'm going to move through these pretty quickly so you're informed and able to get more patients from TikTok in as little time as possible. Just real quick, I want to let you know a couple things about me that really sets me apart from everyone else in this space. I've been doing digital marketing for more than 20 years. I founded my own marketing agency. For several years, I was brought in by billion-dollar brands around the world to coach them on their innovation practices, including getting the right product market fit, and then add millions and millions of dollars to their bottom lines. And I switched from helping all kinds of businesses to marketing for chiropractors in February of 2017, starting with my own chiropractor. And it turns out my interest in natural health, understanding psychology, and people's behavior and technology background was a perfect fit for chiropractic marketing. And now we work exclusively with the chiropractic offices across the US and Canada. All right, enough about me. Right now, you might be wondering, should you be on TikTok? And there's an important distinction I want to make about what being on TikTok even means. There are people that publish content or videos on TikTok, and then there are people that consume or watch videos on TikTok. You can do both, or only one and not the other. So the real question is if there is an opportunity to get patients by publishing videos on TikTok. And well, that's why we're here, right? But let me share what I've learned about TikTok so you can make an informed decision about it. You may not be on TikTok, but the truth is, TikTok is a huge untapped opportunity for most businesses and chiropractors. I first took a closer look at TikTok around the time it displaced Google as the most visited website in the world. There are over 250 million active users in the US. And again, there's a difference between publisher and consumer. Not everyone is posting videos. Most TikTok users simply watch videos. You should publish on TikTok, which can include ads, but not necessarily consume or use the app. More than half of the people on TikTok are ages 30 and older. So much for thinking that there's only kids on there, right? In fact, the largest demographic on TikTok has shifted, and it's now the 25 to 34-year age group. And 57% are female. Ad campaigns tend to work better with women. And it's not just teenagers and dancing videos. There's a whole segment of TikTok videos in a category we call life hacks. A popular one was how to place an order at Chipotle in a way that gets you more food for less money. Just something you could do is showing, specific stretches to help with, say, neck pain and headaches. And despite being a household name, TikTok is one of the most underutilized social platforms right now. And most business owners, chiropractors, and even marketers don't fully understand how to use it effectively. So here's how to decide if you should consider using TikTok to get new patients. Are you getting enough word of mouth referrals and consistently enough to see as many patients as you want every month? Or is there room to grow? Does your calendar have capacity for more new patients? Do you want to hire more staff, but maybe you need more patient visits to justify that? Do you want more of your community to be aware of how chiropractic and you could benefit them, as opposed to popping NSAIDs or just dealing with the pain? Or worse, undergo spinal surgery because their primary doc said that's how to fix sciatica or disc issues. Don't they deserve better? Shouldn't you and your staff be helping more of these people? Bottom line is, early and late, middle aged, and older adults that need your help are on TikTok every day. If you want them to come see you, then the smart decision is add TikTok to your marketing. And before I show you the common mistakes to avoid, let me clear up some misunderstandings most people have about TikTok. The first misunderstanding or false belief around TikTok is, I don't use TikTok, so I can't get patients from there. If you work with an agency like us, we'll run the ads from our business account and book appointments for you inside of our system. You don't even need to have a website, let alone a TikTok account. Some people think that all that's on TikTok is a bunch of dancing videos. That's not for me. When it first started, it was mainly teenagers dancing on video, but now all ages are on there. Videos are all kinds of videos. In fact, one big segment of videos are educational or life hacks. And another common misunderstanding is you can simply do what works on Facebook, and that's just not true. For one, you can't use images. Video is a must. Some people think they have to be an influencer or go viral for TikTok to work for me. And actually, you can just run paid ads. I mean, so setting a daily budget, you can make sure that your targeted audience sees your ads or your content when they're on TikTok. And this is the difference between simply posting something to your page or profile, where someone just happens to stumble across it, maybe they're even across the country, and between running paid ads to your ideal demographics in your area. So, another misunderstanding is people think that the people seeing my ads aren't even in my community or they're just kids. So when you use the ads manager, you can target age ranges like 35 and up, men or women, specific geographic areas like your city or metro or specific zip codes. Another thought people have is they don't have to worry about what's trending. And while there are trends, such as the tortilla challenge, that's the one that sticks out in my mind the most. Paid ads is a completely different strategy. And just like on Facebook or Instagram, your ad appears inside the feed of the targeted people you specify. Another thought people have is, I don't have time to build an audience before getting patients. But the truth is, no audience is required when it comes to paid ad campaigns. As long as you know the right type of video and landing page to use, you can start generating patients on day one. We've had campaigns generate 12 interested people in the first 48 hours. All right, let's talk about some all too common mistakes you want to avoid. So, posting TikTok videos, but stopping short of actually running any ads. So, even if you don't want to do it wrong, you can always have someone like me and my team do it for you so you can trust it's done right. If you want to get in front of people that don't already follow you and are your target demographic, you want to run paid ads. And this applies to really all social media platforms, not just TikTok. And even if you've perfected your landing page for setting people from like your Facebook ads, that's not going to work for TikTok. You can use lead forms, and that works better than Facebook and works better than landing page. And when running ads, you want to use Spark Ads. That way it's connected to a TikTok profile that's already seeded with helpful videos. Another tip is you want to put your city name in your profile name. Most people are used to videos being from all over the world, all over the country, everywhere. So they'll assume that you may not be in the local area if you don't do this. And then, of course, you want to use an online scheduler so these people actually book an appointment with you. They aren't going to get a pen and paper to call you later. You don't want to call out your phone number in your video. just make it easy for them to come in. Put on an online scheduler. And most offices will want to use zip code targeting instead of a giant metro. In order to do that, you'll want to use a VIP agency like ours. Otherwise, zip code is not going to be an option when you create your own ad account. And just to illustrate the overreach for some metros, when you don't use zip code targeting, this is a map of Los Angeles County. When we first started advertising on TikTok, the only option for an office would be to advertise to the entire county. Imagine if you had an office in Pasadena. Would you want to pay to show ads to people all the way on the other side of the mountains in Lancaster? Wouldn't it be a better use of your money to run ads only close enough to your office that a person is likely to drive there? Once we had a track record of success, TikTok upgraded our agency to be able to target specific zip codes. Sometimes you get lucky and your area doesn't have such overreach, but in most cases, you'll benefit by running ads only to specific zip codes near you. And that way, every ad runs to a potential patient. All right. What else does it take to be successful on TikTok? You're going to want to jot down this formula for success on TikTok. First of all, you want to get in the mindset of making TikToks. In other words, videos, not ads. And that they relate to your target patient. I know I've been talking about ads, but you don't want it to feel like an ad. You want to make it feel like a natural video that they see on TikTok all the time. And then you want to come up with a good offer. And I don't mean like a crazy $21 special where you give away the farm, but at the same time, a $250 consultation isn't going to get much response either. And we haven't seen good results come from free consults, so I really don't like those. And you definitely want to get an online scheduler. Make it easy for both them and for you. You don't want to be having to chase these people down. They're going to sign up at night, on the weekends, in the bathroom. They don't want to call at those times, nor are you necessarily available to answer the phone. They'll forget, they'll put off calling until later, but we all have a ton of things that we need and want to do, but don't get around to. And getting them to complete the appointment booking and put on their calendars in really just everyone's best interest. So just make sure it connects with your overall marketing system and then create an ads account. You don't need a TikTok account, just an ads account. And the easiest way to start running ads, if you aren't delegating to a pro and don't have an automation system, is to create a lead ad where the form is just right there inside of TikTok. And then take the person to your online scheduler. All right, some things you want to watch out for are it's not as easy as Facebook to get results from. Mainly, it just requires knowing what works on TikTok and how that's different from what works on Facebook. You need different content, a different destination, or landing page. TikTok limits new accounts. Sometimes you have to try different objectives, which do require a landing page. And when you don't have a dedicated TikTok rep like we do, it's common to have your ads disapproved for promoting medical services. There are so many advantages working with an agency with lots of experience on TikTok, which leads us to the last item to watch out for, and that's limited geographical targeting, where you'd show ads to all of Los Angeles County versus your city or versus 15 minutes to your office. When we looked at Maine, you couldn't target a specific city or area. You actually had to target the entire state of Maine. So you want to make sure you're putting your ads in front of the right people. And sometimes you get lucky, and the marketing area they have for you lines up perfectly. That happens. And sometimes you have to show ads to over 1 million people that's not even in driving distance to your office. All right. If the information I've given you has prompted you to consider using TikTok to get new patients in your community, then there are really two ways you can apply the insights and tips I went over today. There's the hard way, which is also slow and takes a long time. And it takes a lot of testing to figure out exactly what works and what doesn't. And some give up before they discover all the pieces that work to get new patients. That ends up wasting time and money that could have been spent actually pulling in new patients. And you might actually get some people into your office so you can help them. Or you could get yourself a fast pass, which is much easier and skips the long line or path to success. And that starts by scheduling a practice accelerator session with me where you tell us about your practice and what you're wanting to achieve, and then implement our M3A system proven to get new patients for you. And you'll maximize the flow of new patients coming in your office. So if you like the easier, faster route that produces better results faster, scan the QR code and set up a time to talk with me. But if you want to go it alone, you want to kind of figure it out yourself, you feel like you like to create content, I do encourage you to watch our past webinars where we've talked about creating helpful content, talked about some of the core videos you need to have on social media. And this really all compounds together into a good social media strategy, which is both Facebook, it's Instagram, it's YouTube, it's TikTok. So all of this really does work together. So I encourage you to go through that other content. You can also set up a time with me. I'm happy to just help you understand what to be doing differently or how you can be doing it better. And if you happen to want us to help with that, happy to talk about what that might look like too. All right, so let's recap what we covered today. Your patients are on TikTok, at least watching videos. You want to use paid ads to get in front of the right people, adults, right? Not kids in your area. And you want to match the style of content on TikTok. Don't preach about chiropractic or, a new patient special or anything like that. Just give them something helpful or you can even show what it's like to get adjusted and explain what's actually happening there. And then come up with a good offer, some sort of new patient exam, not a free consult, but helping them understand what is a new patient exam, right? When a new person books, maybe they've never even been to a chiropractor. They aren't just coming in, getting cracked and walking out. Some people think that, but help them understand, if you've had this problem, X, Y, or Z, you've tried these different things to get better and you're still struggling with it. The reason you're not better is you haven't fixed the underlying cause. So I encourage you to book a time with us. We'll bring you in, we'll have a thorough exam and consultation and really understand what's going on for you and help you understand what's ultimately causing your issue and then what your options are for getting better. That's what we mean by a new patient offer, right? It's the hope of getting better and actually a plan for that. And then you want to make sure you have an online scheduler. We provide one with our system, but really this is critical for success. And for the average business owner, there's limited geographic targeting. Again, you may live in an area that matches up to where you want to bring in patients from. Many places, they have to target a much larger area in the ad system, and we can help you see what are your options in there. Again, I'm happy to help however I can. And of course, use a VIP agency like us to leverage zip code targeting if that's appropriate. And this is helpful even if the targeting is pretty close to where you want to show ads. You want to make every dollar count. And again, get a fast pass, use a proven system. If you want to skip right to the part where you bring in new patients without spending a lot of time trying to figure out what works and maybe never do before giving up, then schedule a practice accelerator session. We can show you the best, fastest way for you to get more patients and even implement it for you if you want that. So if you want to know more about how to get quality patients from TikTok, but not necessarily do it yourself, or if you have questions about it after this webinar, jot down my number, text me, or scan the QR code, book a time with me. I'll be happy to help. Oh, and I did put together a list of potential video topics you could record for TikTok. I've found that holds some people back, so because I want more docs to help more people, this should remove that hurdle for you. Just text me and ask for the TikTok video list. All right. I hope this has been helpful, everyone. We're coming to the last part of the year before the holidays, so I encourage you to take action now. Plus, you'll be positioned to capitalize on the spike of people wanting to improve their health and life when the new year starts. And here, connect with me, follow us on your favorite channels. You can direct message me on Instagram at Sebastian Mueller. You can also check out our page or channels under Grow Your Chiropractic. I hope this has been helpful. Have a great rest of your day.